This is the Wii Viewer.
And the little reviewer. And the littlest reviewer.
And we're all going to review
MySims Agent for the Wii.
Little Wii Viewer, what did you think of MySims Agent?
Well, the overall game is between good and between half perfect.
What did you think of the game, Littlest Wii Viewer?
I agree with the little reviewer. Good, almost perfect.
I actually agree with you. I had a lot of fun with this game. This is basically a point-and-click adventure game. That's why I love this title. Unlike MySims and MySims Kingdom, this is actually a real game with a linear gameplay. Did you like the change in the gameplay? Because this game was different than MySims Kingdom, the last true MySims game.
I'm not quite sure. I think there's just a little storyline to it.
Actually, there's a big storyline to it. This whole game is about the story, and I thought that was great. You're trying to stop this evil guy from getting something called the Crown of Nightmares. This whole game is about story, and like I said, I love that. There's an overarching story through the entire game, which I thought was a great idea. It made this title a lot more fun to play. So, Littlest Reviewer, what did you think of the story?
Well, simple to read. If you are at least first grade, you'll be okay.
So as a first grader, it was easy enough for you to read?
Yeah?
Did you find the story interesting?
Yeah.
To help you solve the cases in this game, you'll need to interview the people involved, and clue by clue, you'll come across the correct answer. They'll often let you follow up on false leads, so the answer isn't always as straightforward as you might think. After you're done interviewing the witnesses and the people involved, you have to use your detective skills to find the other clues to the case. They give you 3 tools to help you when you first start out. A magnifying glass that lets you see the footprints of the perpetrator of the crime, a crowbar that will help you break into stuff, and a wrench that will repair anything that needs repairing. Or it can be used to bum spare parts off other mechanical devices. All of these tools will eventually be upgraded to even more powerful tools, which will help you in even more areas that you might not have been able to access before. All of these things will be vital in solving the cases. The cases take about 30 minutes to an hour to solve depending on the clues you follow up on. Some of the clues will need you to do a quick mini-game before it lets you continue. There were only a few different kinds, and I do think it was the worst part of this game. It took me out of the fun of the game to solve stupid puzzles. I know it's a staple of adventure games to have puzzles in them, but it's the one thing I've always disliked in adventure games. Needless puzzles. I think while the mini-games are clever, I think they were a bit too hard. Would you agree or disagree?
Depending on the minigame, I bet it would be easy to the range of hard.
Yes, they could get very hard. How about you? What did you think of the minigames, Littlest Viewer?
I totally agree with you.
I think we all agree which was the worst minigame in this whole collection, right?
Analyzing the clues.
That's right. The 1, 2, 3, 4 puzzle. Those were the most frustrating puzzles to play, and those came up often.
It would take you like 10 minutes just to complete one puzzle.
Sometimes longer than that if you really get stuck. I wish there was an option to just say, go ahead and skip this puzzle. I mean, even the Tex Murphy series did that. What'd you think of the controls?
I think they were perfect.
I agree with you. I think they were perfect. They didn't use the motion controls too much, and they didn't use them too little. The locations will change often in this game, so you don't need to worry about spending too much time at the same location. And I like that you consistently be doing something new, or exploring new areas in the game. It helps keep the game fresh and fun. Unlike the other titles in the series where you have conversations that really weren't that important, you'll definitely need to read and pay attention to the many conversations that you'll be entered into. They were often very entertaining to read, and at times the stories would take a very interesting and entertaining twist and turn. As a side game, you could recruit new agents for your office. Then you could send them out on missions, and they would often text you on your cell phone with updates, or they would ask you for a decision on what they should do. They would show you what skills were involved in the mission and what the probable success rate of that team going out would be. So you'll need to make sure you have the right people on the right cases. As much as this was an interesting addition, it's sure to get distracting while you're trying to solve a case. And you kept getting these text messages from your team. It would get a bit frustrating at times to keep reading useless text from them. The payoff from a successful mission is more furniture or things for your headquarters. Almost all the floors on the headquarters could be somewhat modified. They really only give you a somewhat large area to play with, and the rest of the room can't be touched with anything other than a paintbrush. The furniture that you would add attributes to your floor, and that in turn would give you a better chance at completing missions with the agents you send out. Alright, MySims Agent, Little Reviewer, would you buy, rent, or skip?
Actually, I think it is for buy, but I just think it's hanging from a thread for buy.
How about you, Littlest Reviewer, would you buy, rent, or skip?
Buy, totally.
I agree with both of you, but that's probably not a surprise after all the glowing praise I've had for this game. This is a great point-and-click adventure game, and I think the title is absolutely worth a buy.